Okay, Resident Evil Extinction. I got nothing. Resident Evil Extinction stars Milla Jovovich, Ali Larter, Odin Fuhr, Mike Epps, Ian Glenn, and is directed by Russell McCauley. When this film opened, I literally thought I was watching the first Resident Evil again. But that was all part of a clever design I have to give these guys credit for. I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't watched this one in years. So the first few minutes of this film actually did a pretty good job of throwing me for a loop. It surprisingly turned into a very tense sequence, and it didn't stop there. Extinction does tension very well. There are a number of scenes in this film that grabbed my attention and my nerves and would not let up. As far as the atmosphere goes, Extinction is right. Throughout the majority of the film, we are immersed in a desert landscape, and most of the zombies in this film are emaciated with amazing special effects makeup, showing us that this film takes place months after Resident Evil Apocalypse. This third installment shows the return of Alice, Carlos, LJ, and Lord Friendzone, Dr. Isaacs. It also marks the debut of two game characters. Claire Redfield, played by Ali Larter, who I have to say is incredibly cool. Not what you thought I was going to say, was it? Yeah, she's pretty hot. Although we kind of get this new main character thrown at us, I couldn't help but like her. She in a lot of ways reminded me of Sarah Connor from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And not just with looks. She just gave off that I'm a badass vibe, and I dug it. One thing that I can say I'm a little disappointed about her character is that she never mentions her brother Chris. I can understand if he wasn't in the minds of the writers at the time, so I can let it slide. We also get Umbrella badass Albert Wesker, played by... who was that? Oh, that's right. I don't care. The Wesker in this film makes absolutely no impact to the story, and in my opinion is a complete waste of screen time. I would have even been okay with them making Lord Friendzone for Resident Evil Apocalypse in this film Wesker, because at least then there would have been some damn development with the character and not introduced as a half-assed corporate figurehead. Long story short, here's what I think of the Wesker in this film. Minus Wesker, I actually have to give a little bit of praise to Anderson's writing in this one. Although the characters were a little weak, I actually felt that family vibe with this ragtag group of survivors. Extinction brings back Lord Friendzone with an Umbrella subplot that pays a beautiful tribute to George A. Romero's Day of the Dead, with a scene that I will not ruin for you. Now that we're on Lord Friendzone, let's talk about Ian Glenn as Dr. Isaacs. Extinction and Glenn make up for Apocalypse's horrible villain. I thought that Glenn's performance was on point and it resulted in an epic final boss fight. Why, come on, don't tell me he doesn't look like the Tyrant for Resident Evil 1. This installment also shows the debut of running zombies to the Resident Evil franchise, which I actually support. Umbrella has been experimenting apparently since the end of Apocalypse, so it makes sense, right? Let's talk about the action scenes. The action scenes. There is a brilliant tension-filled scene that takes place during the first act that is almost completely ruined by an impossible to figure out action scene because of all the cuts. But that's not to say there aren't some cool sequences. I'll admit it, the crow scene is pretty damn awesome. But other than a few big action sequences, Resident Evil Extinction isn't about big guns and saving the world. It's more of a character study about a group of people trying to survive in a desolate world populated by the living dead. In a lot of ways, this film was an experimental installment in the Resident Evil franchise and really ends as a mixed bag for me. Some of it I really loved, like the addition of the new fast zombies, the Mad Max-like atmosphere, and the badass villain. Some of it I really didn't care for, like the blatant disregard to a legendary game character, and some jarring fight scenes. In the end, guys, I'm going to have to give Resident Evil Extinction a meh, maybe borrow it from a friend. But if you're a hardcore completionist, I would probably give this one a It has its ups and its downs, but it's a good time, guys, and it actually had me wanting to know what happens next. Alright, there you have it, guys. There has been my review of Resident Evil Extinction. What did you think? Let me know down in the comments down below. Make sure you stay tuned for the next installment in the Resident Evil Retrospective with Resident Evil Afterlife. We're getting down to the wire, guys. We only have 2 more until the final chapter comes out. And while you're waiting for my Afterlife review, you might as well stick around for my From the Shelf review of Urban Legend. Make sure you guys check out my Facebook group, Bluetooth Videos. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram because you know I have them. But most importantly, guys, this has been Zack versus the Blue Rain Mountain. Stay metal, my friends.